So as you can see on the board, my section is 3.2, and if you remember, chapter 3 was like all the derivative rules, but 3.2 specifically was the product and the quotient rule. So this is going to be in two parts. I'm just going to start with the product rule. Now we're in the product rule. So here's the formal definition right here, but I'll go through and explain it. Before, just know this only works if f of x and g of x are both differentiable. So you want to find the derivative of f times g. And before product rule, we weren't able to do that, but now there's a way to do it. So you just take normal f of x times the derivative of g of x, plus the derivative of f of x times just normal g of x. So you're just doing the derivative of one times the normal of the other, then the opposite. So in prime notation, it looks a little simpler, but it's the same thing. So f times g, derivative of that, is equal to f times the derivative of g plus the derivative of f times g. So that's product rule. It's a little confusing, like by the notation, but once we get into a few practice problems, you guys will remember it. This is a practice problem for a product rule. It's obviously really simple. I mean, technically, you could just pull this out, but for the sake of the problem, let's just use product rule. So f prime of x is equal to x squared minus 1 times x plus 5, derivative of that, plus x squared minus 1, derivative of that, times x plus 5. So now let's actually start doing the derivative out. So f prime of x is equal to, and we're just going to keep that x squared minus 1. We're not using the derivative of that. We're going to use the derivative of this, so it's times 1, because the derivative of x is just 1. Derivative of 5 is 0, so 1 plus 0, so 1. And then we're going to do plus, we're finding the derivative of this, so 2x minus 0, so 0 times x plus 5. So now from here we just do simple algebra, but I'll do it out just to make sure. So this would just be x squared minus 1 plus 2x squared plus 10x. And from here, 2x and 3x squared you get using these two, minus 1 plus 10x minus 1. And then this would be your final answer. And the reason you get that is by using the product rule, and then from there it just becomes going back to the power rule, which we learned before. So it ends up being really simple as long as you know that product rule. Here's a second product rule example, and the reason I chose this one second is because with the EX it gets a little harder to follow, but you're still going to see it, so I have to go over it. So f prime of x is equal to 3x squared minus 5x times EX, derivative of that, plus 3x squared minus 5x, derivative times EX. So now let's just keep going with it, and that should just stay the same, 3x squared minus 5x. And this is why it gets confusing, because the derivative of EX is just EX still. So it's just going to stay the same, plus, and then we're going to find the derivative of this, so it would be 6x, then minus 5EX. So from here, you're just going to keep going with the problem. So you get 3x squared EX minus 5x EX plus 6x EX minus 5EX. And is there anything I could simplify here? Yeah, these two. So you just get x EX. These cancel out, so you just get x EX. Then minus 5EX, 3x squared EX. So that would be your final answer. This one's the same exact way as we did the last one. It just gets a little confusing and hard to follow because EX stays the same when you find the derivative. Now we're on to the quotient rule. And just like product rule, for this to work, f of x and g of x both have to be differentiable. So what we're finding is the derivative of f of x divided by g of x. So we're going to start and multiply g of x times the derivative of f of x. But instead of like product rule, now we're going to subtract f of x times the derivative of g of x. And then after that, we're going to divide it all by g of x squared. So kind of confusing. Looks a lot simpler in prime notation. As before, these are the same exact thing, just shown differently. So f of x prime derivative is equal to g times f prime minus f times g prime, all divided by g squared, as I said before. So it's a little confusing, but once you show practice, it will all come back to you guys. F of x equals 1 plus 2x divided by 3 minus 4. So we're going to start with 3 minus 4x times 1 plus 2x, and we're going to find the derivative, so prime it, minus 1 plus 2x times 3 minus 4x derivative. And then we can divide all this by 3 minus 4x squared. Okay, so next step down, let's just move it over here. F prime of x is equal to, so find the derivative of that. So it's 3 minus 4x times 2 minus 1 plus 2x times, that's just going to be times negative, that's just be times negative 4 divided by 3 minus 4x squared. So then from here, you're just going to do the rest of the algebra out. I can do it, I guess. So it'd be 6 minus 8x minus, and that would be, end up being minus, so plus 4, which would be minus again, which would be plus 8x, all divided by 3 minus 4x squared. So then from here, you can cancel these two out, plus 4 is 6, so you get 10 over 3 minus 4 squared, and you can just keep doing that out till you get a final answer, but it doesn't really matter, so I'm just gonna stop there. Yo, what up? So I actually forgot to include minus 4x, it wouldn't be minus 4, it would be minus 4x, just to clarify if you were wondering. So yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys learned more.